Hello, beloveds. Welcome back to my channel. It's your priestess, Journey Divine, coming to you on this beautiful Thursday. Ruled by Jupiter. Check in your birth chart. What zodiac signs do you have in your planet Jupiter? How it governs you. How you're ruled by the energy of this day. Is it your day to manifest? Is it your day to experience love? Is it your day to communicate? Is it your day to be silent? To withdraw from others? What does Jupiter do for you? Are you a water sign in your Jupiter? Are you an air sign in your Jupiter? Are you a fire sign? Are you an earth sign in your Jupiter planet? With that, let me look up something. Bear with me, beloveds, because I feel I must elaborate. Jupiter is associated with the principles of growth, expansion, healing, prosperity, good fortune, and miracles. It governs long distance and foreign travel, big business and wealth, higher education, religion, and the law. So depending on where your zodiac, what zodiac element is in the planet of Jupiter that governs wealth, law, business, and spirituality. I can tell you how this day works for you, Thursday. Earth signs are grounded, boss energy, organized discipline. So that would be a day to work on setting goals for finance, setting goals to invest, checking and making sure all of your financial papers are in order. Your businesses are in order. To stock your counters in your store, to replenish, to put in those orders, to do audits. If you're in water sign, today is about connecting to a higher spirit, working on your spirit, your connection with God, praying, meditating, journaling, writing, getting organized, setting a daily routine, a ritual to connect higher with the divine, doing your self-readings, your tarot, pulling your cards, grounding yourself, going out into nature, speaking what you want and what you desire as far as wealth, abundance, and prosperity, manifestation. Doing those manifestation rituals. If you're a fire sign, today is about going for it, taking a leap of faith, taking a risk, being sure to work on your progression, to maybe start that new project, to maybe sit down and speak with business partners about what's going on in your business, to seek knowledge and education on maybe how to start that business or grow that business you currently own. If you're an air sign, today is about traveling, taking a trip, possibly by plane, organizing a getaway, a vacation with the ones you love, maybe going to a lecture related to something you want to do, a business endeavor, an events. Just join to sit with the rich and famous. To follow in what they do. To figure out what makes it work. The things you're interested in. What do you need to do to make them work for you? Maybe buy a book based on what you're interested in getting into. A clothing business, an herbal business, studying tarot or oracle closer. Maybe starting that YouTube channel. Jupiter is a day to manifest, to get organized, to prioritize, to manifest, to do rituals, to connect with others, like-minded people in high places, high-vibing places. Maybe you go to the library. Maybe you join a book club. Okay, now, that was a lot. Maybe you start a book club in your home. A few people that come over once a month to sit down and read a like-minded book based on maybe financial growth or spiritual growth, or help you bond with others, build a team. I am now pulling oracle cards from the Starseed Oracle. When I think of starseeds, automatically I think of my air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I don't know why, but I do. That could be in your chart. That could be where your Jupiter is at. In one of those zodiac signs. In that case, travel would be important for you. Summer is coming. The weather is getting better. People are starting to move around. Maybe plan a trip. Maybe go find your tribe. Okay, we're going to take the first three that came out. We've got You Got the Love. We've got Earth. And we've got I'm Sorry. You've got the love. Hadarian energy, codependency, and boundaries. Do you need to set boundaries with certain people in your life? Do you have a codependent relationship you need to reevaluate? Let's see. The Starseed Soul Inquiry for this card is, do you lose yourself in relationships? If so, how? How can you develop a deeper love for yourself? The message of this card is to review the ways you may need to establish healthier boundaries. Perhaps you're in a codependent relationship in which you may be losing your sense of self. It's common for starseeds to dive deep into relationships, particularly with those who feel safe and familiar at a soul level. But perhaps you're in a relationship in which you give more than you receive. Or perhaps there's a certain volatility to it, and you're always unsure where you stand. This card is assigned to do a relationship review and see what energetic agreements you've made, consciously or unconsciously. To acknowledge if there are relationships in which you feel anxious or powerless. To assess if there are any places of inadequacy that you've used a relationship to soothe and cover up. That means to say, are you in a relationship that's masking the fear that you have of being alone? Are you choosing unhealthy relationships with people, friends, family, co-workers, because you don't want to be alone? God may be telling you at this time that you may need to be alone to understand how it feels to be with yourself, so that you can discover who you really are when no one else is around. If that is a fearful, scared, doubtful, hurtful place to be, then it's more to that story. Why do you feel that way when you're alone with yourself? Is it based on past trauma? A lot of times this affects only children very heavy. It affects those who've been in domestic violence relationships, those who have been abused by parents, by partners, those who are highly over-empathetic to the point where it's rendered them easily abused by others' emotions, feeling that they must give more than they receive, as if that's a purpose that God will give you. Never, never, never. To love yourself is to tell people, to show people how to treat you, to set those healthy boundaries, to let people know you will not be bullied, you will not be mishandled, you will not be taken for granted, you will not be a victim of your own doing. Earth. Did I show the You Got Love card? See the many faces she holds? Like in the Matrix, spinning out of control, overthinking, sleepless nights, anxiety, tired, worn out, discouraged of our life itself, giving up on self, relying too much on others for your own happiness. Giving but not able to receive. Not trusting. Here's the Earth card. Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. I believe that was a statement that I made in the reading I posted right before this one. I spoke of being in the world and not of the world. Finding your way to exist in a place where you feel unseen. And being okay with not being invited, not being accepted, not being validated, not needing confirmation from others, to love yourself, to speak your truth, to show up, to glow up, to be confident, to be courageous, to be strong, to know that you are a child of God and you can go everywhere and anywhere. You are welcomed on this entire planet. To not be in the room and be hushed or silenced or ridiculed or gossiped about. And you keep showing up in those places because you need somewhere to be, to belong. Do you tend to long for the stars or be more in the physical? How can you find greater balance between the two? Most starseeds are drawn toward transcendence. They are more comfortable with the angels and the heavens. Life on earth can be more difficult for them. If this is you, you're being reminded that you choose to be a soul and a body on earth. And you're being called to focus more on you're being called to focus more of your energies in the physical world, which means it's time to get the head out the clouds. Dreaming, a dreamer, a daydreamer, not really living in reality of what life is showing you all around you. Wishing and hoping is not an action. To learn how to be human, a soul in a human body, fully present to what life on earth has to offer you. Those who tend toward eminence have attached themselves more to earth and their body. They spend more time thinking about things in the physical world rather than connecting with the heavens or their own mystical inner world. Being a fully embodied soul, having a human experience means finding the balance between the two. Being in the world, but not of it. Being in the world, being present in the moment, showing up when you're needed, showing up when you are called, but know who is calling you to show up, knowing why you are needed when you show up. Are you being used by the human force on this planet? Or are you useful to the spiritual energy within you, given to you by the divine source all around you? It's easy for the awakened and the ascending to get stuck, floating, flying, and feet never really touching the ground. But this is where we are, in the land of the living. We must be able to exist in both places, in reality and in the spirit realm, using our discernment about where we need to be and when we need to be there. Does God put you there to serve a purpose for your best and highest intention? Or are you just showing up against God's will because you need to be in the room with no real intentions on it serving a purpose for you? Our last card is I'm sorry. Defenselessness, righting past wrongs, and uprooting. How are you being called to drop your defenses and unwind past wrongs? To bring about unity, we must first acknowledge the ways in which both we and the world have been divisive, personally, ancestrally, and collectively. The shadows, the hate, the wounds, the separation, the severing, the wrongs, and the sadness. You may be called to explore how you, your ancestors, or your society have, consciously or unconsciously, inflicted pain upon others. To find a way to drop the armor around your heart and see things as they truly are for all people. To say I'm sorry with an open heart and mean it. To be part of the healing rather than the perpetuation of inherited conflict or oppression. This isn't about blame. It's about unwinding the patterning that got us here. You may be called to devote your time to causes you believe in or do healing work on your ancestral line. It's easy to say we forgive. It's easy to say we love. It's easy to say we've shed old past memories and baggage. It's easy to say that we don't carry hate, bitterness, anger in our hearts. It's easy to speak a lot of words. The action part is where the real work is done. I forgive because I am forgiven. But what does that forgiveness look like on you? Can you be reliable? Can they call you? Can they expect you to show up as the new you? Are you walking the talk? Are you really trusting in love, in your healing? Have you really let go? Or are you harboring feelings of abandonment, abuse, rejection, disappointment? Are you absorbing the ugliness of others by choosing to separate, forget, even in their times of great need of your gifts? Because you say you've let go, but you refuse to forget why you had to. Being a healer takes a lot of strength, takes a lot of forgiveness, takes a lot of selflessness. And this human flesh will always get in the way when it's trying to protect itself. That protection can come off as being standoffish, being untouchable, being hard, being judgmental. I am not perfect. I battle daily with elevating, healing, changing, learning, becoming, trying not to live in the flesh, but to be a spiritual being, more like God and less of me. I understand. So this is not to preach some perfection or some impossible reality that I've achieved. I'm like you. I'm open to learning, to being a better self every day. But it is a commitment that I value, that I've taken on intentionally. I'm not hoping that God would just snap his fingers and boom, I'm some mystical, magical creature with no faults. then I would already be an ancestor of the highest white light, and I'm here with you. It takes great perseverance, great endurance, and forgiveness for self, gentleness with self, kindness with self, loving thyself, healing thyself, and letting yourself be an example of what that really looks like for others to strive to be. That is a purpose that many of us light workers have. And it's hard. It's hard. I will not say it's easy. It's rewarding. It builds character. It makes you proud of yourself. It is a feeling that is unmatched. To know that in spite of others, you are love. And you maintain that. Because that is the God, the goddess in you that speaks to the devil, to the karmics, to low vibration, to change the frequency of this planet. It's not about you. It's about being useful, being a vessel, being a tool, being an example. Speaking your truth even when it hurts others. But knowing that you did not hurt intentionally. The hurt is what they feel when they look upon their own selves. It's their own guilt and shame. It's not what you gave them. For you meant not to bring harm to any innocent. But God's truth will flow through you. And then it will do what it may. And you walk away. Because you've given all you can give. With no guilt, no shame. So my star seeds, my light workers, my white witches, wizards, warlocks, my visionaries, my healers, leaders, coaches, guides, seers, my prophets, prophetess, my lucid dreamers, my fortune tellers, my oracles. Regardless of what title you've given yourself, we all are the same in this collective war. Titles only separate us so that those who need what we have know which one of us to go get it from. That's the only reason why we have them. They mean nothing to God at all. At all. God doesn't care if you're a priestess, if you're a shaman, if you're a witch, if you're an occultist, if you're a Christian, a Baptist, a pastor. God don't care about your title, about your fame. God cares about your character, your spiritual connection, your impact on others in a positive way, your vibration, your frequency, your ability to give without a hand open, always waiting to receive. God cares about your intention. Because God knows it before you even speak it or do it or put it into motion. That's why some are blessed and some are not in the same arena, in the same skin, with the same title. Because God sees intention. God knows we are fallible. God knows we are not perfect. God knows we are here and we will make mistakes because we are God's children. God knows we will have moments of disobedience, breakdown. God knows. And even through all of that, God knows your heart. God knows you will slip, but God knows that when you slip and fall, you get up. Because your intention is to be better, more like Him and less of you. As within, so without. Evaluate what that as without looks like, and then evaluate the as within. Cause and effect. As above, so below. His way, His will, regardless of the seeds we sow. He has the final say every day. Ask Him to guide your footsteps, light your path, and direct you in a righteous way. Plead the blood and ask for forgiveness. And then move on. An assurance that you are forgiven. And then forgive others. Because you are. No conditions. No expectations. No restrictions. It is what is. Period. Stop checking the list for what they did in the past, what they could possibly do in the future, holding on to a so-called list of protection so that you won't make the same mistakes with the same. Intentions. As I pull your charm, this is when I ask you to hit the like button, beloved, to support your girl. Love hurts. God's love does not. And God's love is the love you give yourself. It should not hurt. You should not hurt. For you are your first love. You need a one-on-one? You want to check out what I do, what I've created, my oracle decks, my coloring books, my erotica, my journals? You want to give to the channel, support your girl? Everything you need to know is in the box below. Hit me up by email. That's how I book. We can meet, we can discuss, we can elevate. We can get through. We all need someone. We have the music note. Music to my ears. Music notes. Organized. Placed strategically. Collectively, they create a song. Building to, they build on each other. Every note builds upon the note before. The ancestors. I'm seeing a spiritual heavenly choir. You might be a singer. You might have a beautiful voice. God may be telling you, what is your song? In those moments when you need peace, comforting, to get rid of the chaos of the world around you, what is the song? What is your go-to? What you listen to? Does it elevate you? Have you stopped listening to the music? Music is healing. It's loving. It's kind. It's rhythmic. rhythmic beats of the heart. Maybe you stop listening because it triggers memories that you don't want to deal with. People you don't want to remember. Things that you haven't put away, although you say you have, but you can't listen to those old songs because you haven't. That is a good way to do your shadow work. And you can finally listen to them without the emotional attachments of negativity, of pain, of crying. Remembering the past as if it is a tragedy. And our life you live full of experience that built you into this beautiful, growing individual you have come to be. Then you can move on to the next assignment. The angels sing. Are you listening? Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day of Jupiter. Beloved, I wish you all the love, peace, and harmony your heart and hands can hold. And on this day of prosperity, I wish you abundance and wealth. It is your birthright. But you cannot accept and receive until you have an empty cup, until you have released. So God can pour out the manna and refill it, restore it, overflow. Until we meet again, beloved, thank you for staying. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for your love. Comment. Let me know what's going on. What do you need? What do you want? Ashe, beloved. Ashe.